Hello and welcome to my channel, Glamour Goosebumps, where we talk about all the weird, the creepy, and the unexplained. On today's episode, I'll be walking you through a super easy tutorial on how to look like you just drowned. That's right, dead and drowned. That's what you're going to look like if you follow this tutorial. So, step by step. First step, add a little bit of your lightest foundation all over your body and anywhere where you want to look dead. So I'm adding a little bit of the Airbrush Flawless foundation by Charlotte Tilbury in shade 1. It's quite light, so I'm just kind of brushing it all around my body to give me that really nice white casted look. The reason why I didn't use white is because it would just be too bright. This really gives you more of a real skin kind of look. Now I'm taking a little bit of rubbing alcohol and I am removing any color that I have where I'm going to lay my prosthetic. Now I'm using liquid latex for my prosthetic and I wouldn't recommend this. I actually recommend spirit gum, but I was out, and so now I'm just kind of pressing that in there so that I can make sure that it's all tight and doesn't fall off. I'm gonna let that dry for a bit. I'm gonna move on and add a little bit of purple shadow around my eyes to kind of give them more that bruised look. If you were dead, right, you would have some bruising or, around your nose to make it look like you have hypothermia. So I'm adding a little bit of this plum color and around my throat to make it look like somebody tried to strangle me. And then don't forget your collarbone too. Adding those little shades around your collarbone is really going to play into this dead, sunken in look. I'm also coming through with a little bit of like a dark brown black, and I'm just adding it over the plum to give my look a little bit more dimension. A good rule of thumb is never to just use one color. Use multiple colors. It's going to give you more dimension and look more real. Now I'm adding some starfish that I already previously painted from Michaels and a little bit of peat moss, and I'm adding a little bit of black to the peat moss. I did secure this with some liquid latex. It stayed on really well. I didn't have any issues, but I wanted to add a little bit of black just to kind of give it some more depth, and then took purple shadow and kind of sculpted around it so it looked like it was actually embedded into my skin. This is really important. You don't just want your prosthetics just to sit on your skin. You have to think about what's around them, especially if you want to give them that real attached look. And then adding a little bit more black, like I said, the green moss would not be super green. So then adding a little bit of black around my lips, but then putting foundation over it to give that really nice purple lip look. Try to avoid using a lipstick for this because it's not going to look the same. And now with a fine tipped paintbrush, I am actually painting on capillaries. So if you were to be drowning, you would have capillaries burst in your face. So to pay homage to the true drowning death, I am doing that and then sponging it out to give it more of a real life effect. All right, so now it's time to get this prosthetic off. What I would recommend is actually for you to use 100% acetone. It would just melt away this outer layer. I did not have any, so I'm using scissors. Shame on me. Every special effects person knows you don't do that, but that's what I did. So I'm adding a little bit of foundation around it just to kind of help with those edges, and then I will start kind of painting it and really giving it that dimension. So again, coming in with a plum kind of color around to really set that in, and then also to have it match more my skin. I'm coming in with a little bit of a dark purple in between all of those little tentacles. So I love this prosthetic so much. It is an octopus, and I think it's so cool because it looks like it's literally just like attached to my body, which I feel like if you were dead at the bottom of the ocean, maybe you would have sea life living and feasting off your body. I'm adding a little bit of black again, adding that foreground so that those tentacles really, really pop. And I'm coming in with paintbrush. I added a little bit of white and some peach to create that really nice fleshy tone. I'm a scuba diver and I see octopi all the time, and they are a beautiful color, and I wanted to really pull that out. Again, when you're doing this, add as much color as you possibly can. Think of the colors that you would see if you saw something coming out of your body, and really try to mimic those. So purples, blacks, reds, plums, like those are going to be the colors you're really going to want to look for if you want something coming out of your skin. And now I'm just coming through and I'm adding those little details, rubbing it out on my skin so that therefore there's no harsh edges and it really looks like it's a part of me. And then some white highlights for the suckers of the tentacles to make them really pop, so you know exactly what they are. Now I'm grabbing a little bit of liquid latex and I'm adding some more peat moss around it just to really give it that coming out of my skin kind of look. And that's really it, you know, just adding those little touches, adding a little bit more, you know, darkness to that moss that really sticks out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and paint my body a little bit more to give the little bit of that bruising kind of a look and that sunken in, I'm dead. A few more capillaries, and that's really the finished look. I got all of the prosthetics on Etsy and Michael's, of course. But yeah, that's it. I'll have everything linked in the description box below. I hope you have a spooky Halloween.